everyone, thanks for tuning back into another episode with Vogue a la mode. So today we're going to be talking all about retail, the industry, and what it has to offer you if you're thinking about going into it. So let's get right into it. I made a list of pros and cons. There's more pros and cons. So if you came to this video trying to be like, no, talk me out of it, no, we're gonna change that attitude. So I'm just going to go through the list of pros and cons. And you kind of just see if this is the right industry for you, or if you have anything else to add to the video. Maybe we can do a part 2. Just put it in the comments below, and then we can see what you have to say about what the retail industry has offered you as well. Stay tuned. So, as many of you all may know, I have worked in the retail industry for a numerous amount of years. It's been bittersweet. Mostly sweet, but it has offered me a lot of advantages and a lot of opportunity. So I do want to share that with you. And also it has been some difficult things I had to work out with being in the industry. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. And it's going to be a little short video so you all can kind of know the ins and outs and the pros and cons of the industry. So let's start off with number 1. It's going to be a pro. And if you see me looking this way, I have my laptop right here and I'm kind of feeding off of that. So they often give you a flexible schedule, allowing you to go to school or even have a second job. So when I was working in retail, I was in my undergraduate college years, and I definitely needed a schedule that was flexible and that worked with me. So I often had morning classes. So basically what I did was kind of set my schedule out to that. So if I had a class maybe ending at 12, I would, give me time to travel to work. But thank God I worked close to home. So I wasn't able to set out a long period of time to travel. It didn't take me that long. So if, like I said, if class ended around that time, I would maybe give myself an hour to an hour and a half just to kind of get some sleep, eat, and then do a little bit of work before I actually go to my job. Oftentimes I did work the closing shift, and we'll get into that and what that entails as well as being a student. So so they give you a flexible schedule. You're able to work, you're able to go to school or whatever kind of side hustle that you do. If you need more time for that, they would be willing to work with your schedule. So that's always amazing. Let's do a con. So we're going to kind of do pro con. So the first con is difficult customers. So you do kind of have to have that customer service friendly attitude because you will be dealing with some difficult customers. If you have never dealt with difficult customers before, just kind of take a step back and kind of realize how customer service works. So think about, if you go into a store, how would you like to be greeted? How would you like to be treated if you're really trying to find something that you can't necessarily find on your own? If you need help, how would you like for an employee or a sales associate to come up to you? So that's kind of the attitude that you have to approach when you deal with customers that are a little bit more difficult. Oftentimes, customers are not difficult. They're awesome people, especially working in the retail industry. You don't have to deal with everybody. If you're finding that they're very difficult, of course you will seek your manager for help, but also you kind of want to show your manager and the management team that you kind of have that independent attitude, and that you can work with difficult people as well as the people who are very interested and fashion savvy. So just making sure that you have that spirit about you, that entrepreneurial spirit, and as well as working with others and dealing with those customer service qualities. So smiling always at the customer and making sure that they get what they want in the end, even if that means that you got to go in the back and take a breather because that customer was very difficult, which I've had to do many a times. So the next pro is every day is different, okay? As far as the customers that come in, as far as the tasks that you have to accomplish, every single day is different. I'm a Gemini. I'm not sure if you guys are into zodiac signs, but I cannot stand when a routine goes on. Every day you wake up at 7 o'clock, you get ready, you go to work by 9, you get off at 5, you get home, you watch TV, you go to sleep, just to do it all over again. Like, I cannot stand a routine. I like for things to be very, very different and very exciting for me, especially with the fashion industry. It's a huge industry that is very different all the time. Sometimes you're traveling, sometimes you're in office, sometimes you're going to shows, sometimes you're opening up a boutique. You know, everything is different. So as far as working in retail, every single day is different. You might be doing a different task today than you did yesterday, or working with a different customer. Oftentimes you will see customers that return, and especially if you're a great person to welcome guests and to also, you know, help them with whatever they're looking for, they're always gonna know your name and come back for you. And they're gonna be like, hey, Tyrone helped me last week. I really love the way he helped me. Where is he? Is he working today? Because I need to find a fit, you know. So every day is completely different. It gives you a variety as well to the business, and it shows you the different sides of the business. So while I was in retail, I kind of got that merchandising, marketing, and advertising experience from the inside, as well as getting that customer service role from the outside. And it was amazing. It was great. Every day is different, so that's what I looked forward to. The next con is management and coworkers. Sometimes, it depends on, honestly, it depends on the location. I was gonna say it depends on the company, but I've worked for the same company at 2 different locations. The experience was completely different from A to B. So I was very excited to get back to A because the experience was way better at A than B. So sometimes people can micromanage you as far as management. And I'm not going to say just management, because sometimes if you're a new face, the other sales associates can look at you and be like, she's new, she doesn't know what she's doing. You know, so they can either look out for you, A, in a loving way, or B, they can micromanage you. And that's kind of the ugly side to the retail industry, and being at an entry level of the fashion industry is kind of that being micromanaged. And especially if you've been working at it for a long time, retail is nothing new for you. You know the sales goals, you know how to optimize the customer sales, you know how to, you know, busy yourself so that way you won't get bored, or management can, you know, give you awards for always being an amazing sales associate. I don't even know. So other times people don't know your skill, so they can, you know, think that you don't have that skill, you don't possess that skill, or you're new to the company. So oftentimes they'll be like, okay, we need to help her, or we don't feel like she gets it, or anything like that. Sometimes if you're new to the area, you don't know where the men's section is, so you're looking all over the place, and you know, you have to figure it out for yourself. So micromanaging is not fun for anybody, but if you feel that you're being micromanaged, oftentimes just deal with it in a way that it's not going to trouble your peace and trouble your soul. If it's troubling you, then you definitely need to talk to upper management about that, or call HR. So that's always a thing. The next pro is it gives you fashion experience, and this is very industry specific. This is a fashion channel. I love fashion. That's the career that I'm in, and that's what this video is all about. So if you're not looking to go into fashion, this pro is not really for you. This is more for the fashion-driven, industry-specific people who are looking for that overall fashion. How can I get into fashion? I studied, I don't know, biology in school, but I really want to get into fashion. So how can I do that? This is for you. So retail is the entry level to fashion. So retail, being in the entry level and at the bottom of the totem pole, it really gives you kind of that flexibility to rise, but also it's going to give you fashion experience. So whether it be with networking, which is actually the next pro. So I kind of tie these actually in together. So networking with customers and coworkers. This also happens. So a lot of the times you're working with people who love the same things that you do. Otherwise, they wouldn't have got that job. But that's not all the time. But most of the time it is. So working with when you feel comfortable, kind of reaching out and working with your peers, finding kind of that person that you can be cool with or whatever. Just see, like, what industry are you going into? Are you going into fashion as well? Awesome. Let's work together. Let's collaborate on some idea, some big thing. Start a company, start a blog, start a magazine. I'm not sure like what you want to do, but it definitely gives you that fashion industry aspect as well as that networking aspect. As far as the fashion industry, like I said, it's very ever changing. So retail is like the exact definition of the industry. So it's going to give you those days kind of where it's like, it's really hard, but it's all worth it because look what you've done so far. Look how many lives that you changed. So overall, that's my goal within the fashion industry, is changing lives and helping better people, and, you know, getting the word out on different trends and things like that. So that's what I was able to do in as a sales associate for retail. I was able to do that as well, and I was super excited to do that every single day. I'm not gonna lie, it was some days where I was like, I don't want to go to work, but it wasn't because I didn't like my job. I actually really liked my job, and I liked that I was able to work in my industry and also be in school, which oftentimes you don't find, right? They want you to have experience and they want you to have the degree. So it's kind of like contradictory, because it's like, how am I to get experience and the degree? Like, I was spending my time getting the degree, but you want experience as well. So if you're in the fashion industry and you're getting a degree in fashion, then it's definitely going to help you because you're working in your field and you're getting that experience that they say that you need oftentimes. So that helps. Networking as well. This one is non-industry specific. If you're like an artist or something like that, or you're a dancer or whatever, you may find some customers or some, you know, coworkers that do the same thing. So it's not just with the fashion industry. It's kind of with like the arts. I find arts and entertainment industry that kind of retail gears towards. So you'll definitely find somebody that wants to do the same thing that you do. And networking is very, 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 very important when that aspect comes, and it can help you because you're meeting so many different people. And after you graduate or whatever, you'll be looking for a job in your field. So by meeting those people, that will definitely help you out. Woo, that was a lot. Okay. The next con is overnight and closing shifts. So like I said, I was in school and I had to work the closing shift, which was terrible. It wasn't bad, but I mean, you're there for a while and you do have to close the store. Mid shifts are the best because you don't have to open and you don't have to close. You kind of just are there in the middle. You do what you got to do as far as cleaning the floor, make sure you're customer servicing and doing everything that you have to do on the floor. But then when it's your time to go, it's your time to go, right? So working the closing shift is kind of different because you're coming in after the mids. So if there was a crazy day, you have to fix up that mess, right? But then you also have to get the store to an adequate level to where when they open the store tomorrow, they don't have to come in and clean. So that's just a closing shift. Also, you have to deal with that rush hour traffic. A lot of people are coming into the store at maybe 5 or 6 and they're looking for an outfit, or they have an event to go to that night and they need your help, you know, something like that. So oftentimes you do have to deal with a lot more customers because of that rush hour during the week. And then also you have to kind of make sure the store is very, very clean for the next day. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. I can go on about closing shifts, but I don't want to discourage you. I think this is very important to the industry, and this is where you should start. So never look down upon, you know, entering into the retail industry, especially if you want to go into fashion. Okay. So the next pro is it helps you keep up with trends. So if you are wanting to be in trend forecasting or even merchandising or even marketing, honestly, all of that has to do with keeping up with the trends that are, set in stone that help the market. So we want to optimize the sales of our company, right? Oftentimes, people do have side hustles when they work for different retailers and things like that. So they want to kind of get in and see the keys to running a business and go, right? That's a lot of our goals, honestly. But at the same time, to optimize the goals and the sales of the company that you're in, you definitely want to be recognized in the industry. And they can be like, this person started off as a sales associate, now she's a manager, and look at the sales that she's driven. Like, in her location, in her region, she's driven all of these sales. Let's get her into corporate, and then you go to corporate, and then you go to the next step. So it's like, wow, like, you can really grow. Always look for a company that you can grow with. That's a very important question when you're interviewing as well. How can I grow with this company? And also, what is the maybe time frame of me growing with the company? When did you start the company? How did you grow with the company? Did you start with the company? So that's very important when you're looking forward to working in retail and you're interviewing at these different stores and locations. You kind of want to find out how you can grow with the company, okay? But as far as like merchandising, if you want to go into merchandising, this will definitely help you to keep up with the trends. If you work in a very trendy store, for example, like H&M, Zara, Forever 21, places like that. If you work in those type of stores, those stores definitely keep up the trend and they're above trend. So meaning that they have trend forecasters that work for the district, and they're definitely looking to the audience that they're gearing towards, and also looking for what the audience is looking for before they're looking for it. So oftentimes you'll see different trends come out and you're like, oh my gosh, look at this. What? How did they know that Gucci just came out with this same blazer? You know what I mean? So they're going to be above trends. So definitely optimize your time there. If you're only going to be there for like a year or so, do all that you can to learn the industry. So look at the trends. Look at for one of the retailers I worked for, we had like a book for visuals, and I would look in that book and be like, wow, like, look what's coming up. Also it tells you what sales you have. So it's just amazing. So just optimize your time 100% if you're going to be in the retail industry. So the next con kind of goes with my previous thought, and it's growing with a company may take time and experience. It's good to enter in a company at entry level so they can see kind of what you need help on, and also your strengths and your weaknesses. So if you want to grow with that company and eventually be at the corporate level, it's good to kind of work from the bottom up so they can kind of see and keep track of how you've changed the company, of what you've done to improve the company's sales, okay? So like I'm saying, growing might take time. It always depends on your company. This is company specific. Growing may take time. I worked for one company where growing did not take that much time. You could grow, but it always depended on your skill, right? I worked for another company where growing did take some time. You had to kind of prove yourself within the industry. You had to prove yourself within that role, right? And then they would feel that you're ready to be whatever came next, and then that's how that would happen. So growing may take time. That's a pro or con with you, okay? I'm not sure if you're looking forward to growing right away, immediately. I'm not completely sure. So you kind of have to think about that when you're, interviewing and things like that. Kind of, like I said, on the interview, ask about those questions so you can see if that's worth your time or not. The next pro is working in retail. You can double as a stylist to customers. So this is like a play on words for your resume. I didn't tell you that. But so this is like a play on words, basically. You can work as a stylist. So a lot of the times customers are coming in and they're looking for a fit for that night or that next work day or that important interview or that big scholarship event. I'm not sure, right? But you're always needing to work as a stylist to the customer. If the customer approaches you and asks for help, you definitely don't want to. Wow. Okay, so my dog wanted to join the video. So if the customer comes in and they're looking for some help, you don't want to approach it like it's over there. No, you want to be like, so what are you going to? What's this event? When is it? Because that's very important. If they need something today, don't be like, well, we don't have it. Come back tomorrow. No, they can come back tomorrow because they don't have time to come back, right? So you kind of want to ask those questions, and that engages you with the customer. The customer's going to be like, oh my gosh, they were like really helpful. Like they didn't have to be that helpful. Also, you want to kind of look at what the customer is wearing and kind of see their style. So oftentimes a customer can come in, sometimes they can be like in workout gear. Obviously that's not their style. They just came from working out, right? Yeah. So you kind of want to ask them like, well, what's your style? Like, are you into colors, or are you into neutrals? Are you into patterns? What's your style? Kind of get to know them a little bit, not on a personal level, but more just on a fashion stylist level. So you can kind of gear them towards which, garment is best for them. Oftentimes, if they don't find something, then it's okay to be like, yeah, well, we'll maybe get that next week. And your event is just in time, or maybe you can order it online. You never want to say no to that customer because they'll kind of feel rejected by the store and kind of have a bad experience. So to keep a customer, you always want to find the next alternative for them getting that garment that they really wanted. Okay, so working as a stylist is really going to help you with the industry, and especially if you want to become a stylist. I'm not sure if you want to. This is the best way, entry-level way, to kind of get that experience and say that you have that under your belt. The next, actually, this is the last con, and I've actually kind of said it already, but just to rephrase, retail is the bottom of the totem pole within the fashion industry. If you know of some below retail, put in the comments below. I'm really wanting to know what it is. But with that being said, don't go into the retail industry on these interviews being like, I got fashion in the bag. Like, I know what this is. I know what this, you might. But at the same time, you do not fully know the industry until you've worked in retail. Let's stop. Let's say that again. You do not fully know the industry until you work in retail. Working in retail really humbles you as well because it makes you see the sides. It makes you see fashion into sides, and it makes you kind of level up. Hashtag Sierra. It makes you kind of level up to the person that you're becoming, the person that you want to be, the industry that you want to go into, specific fashion industry that you're really into. Fashion is like Google. Like you can type Google up on your computer, and you can be looking for anything, right? A whole lot of options are going to come up. You look for fashion, like careers in fashion, a whole lot of options are going to come up. Fashion is huge. You can't just be like, oh, I just want to go into fashion. What do you want to do? No, like fashion is huge, right? It's a huge world. The world of fashion is big, okay? So when you're going into fashion retail, have an open mind to all of the different aspects fashion has to offer, because it's so many. You may be like a pro at fashion. You studied Givenchy, you studied Yves Saint Laurent, you studied all these different designers, right? You may be a pro at that, studying, and maybe your next step would be kind of trend forecasting or different things like that if you're good at that. So find out what you're good in. If you don't quite know, but you want to go into fashion, retail is perfect for you because it's going to kind of show you all those different aspects to what makes a fashion company run smoothly. Okay? So don't go in like, I just want to be the next Givenchy. I just want to be, like, awesome. You're going to be that, right? And then you think, I just want to be the next Givenchy. How can I get there? Show me what I have to do to become the next top designer at New York Fashion Week. Okay? And they'll show you. They'll be like, sure, I'm going to make you into that new designer. that top designer at New York Fashion Week where the tickets sold out in 1 week. That's awesome. Have those different goals. Definitely have goals. I'm not saying do not have goals. Have goals before coming into the retail environment, because those goals are what's going to keep you there. Those goals are what's going to drive you there, and I encourage you to write them down. Visual aid always helps. Write them down in a pretty way, or print them off, or type them up. I'm not sure. Have a poster or something like with them on there. I'm not sure, but just make sure that you have that visual aid so you can see where you want to go. Okay, so you can see your end result. You want to get there. How can you get there? Maybe it is through retail at first, and then you go. You don't have to spend your life working retail. It's just for the experience, especially if you want to go into the fashion industry. Retail is where you need to start off, okay? And then you can be the ones, bragging, quote unquote, not bragging, but bragging to your peers in college, like, oh yeah, I work in my industry already. And they're like, what? How? Because they said we need like 8 years of experience before we actually get to where we want to go. Oh no, honey, I got that in the bag. I'm working in my industry. And they don't even have to know. Like, whatever. Fashion is so huge, right? But it all comes down to retail. It's like a triangle, like an upside down triangle. Fashion, boop, retail, right? So working down at that totem pole, it's not a con. I did list it as a con, but industry specific for real. Okay, and the pro. I have 2 more pros, and these are great. So the next pro is getting paid while in your industry. So experience doubles. That's kind of what I'm talking about already. So getting paid for what you love to do. Like, what? Like, what? What else is new? Like, I'm getting paid for picking these outfits, bro. Yeah. Like, what? It's amazing. Like, I don't know who wouldn't want to get paid for what they love to do, right? And you're doing that with retail. The next pro is learning skills in customer service, fashion marketing, fashion merchandising, advertising, and so on. So like I said, when I worked in retail, I kind of got that experience working in the different aspects. My industry right now is fashion marketing. I'm actually in graduate school right now, and I'm getting my master's in fashion marketing for the help of Vogue à la mode. So I'll go more into that in another video as far as my college experience and kind of how I got to where I am right now. But I am getting my master's right now in fashion marketing. So that's kind of my way of devoting myself to the fashion industry. I love styling people. I love making new designs, but I'm not a stylist. I do not consider myself a stylist, okay? I'm not like the #1 stylist, no. And I'm definitely not a designer because my styling skills is on 2%, okay? They are low, okay? I'm not saying I can't expand upon them, but I am not a designer, okay? So I kind of tried to look for what my niche was, and that was the business side. So fashion marketing, it's very, 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 very different from the things that you're used to seeing, in Vogue spread, this last spread. You're looking at, oh my gosh, look at that purse. Wow, like how did he think of that? No, that's the designer's aspect. The marketing is kind of what brought that to you. You know what I'm saying? How are you able to look at all of these amazing new collections from your favorite designers? That's what I do. So I'm super, super excited about that industry. If you want a video about fashion marketing specifically, please put that in the comments and I'll be happy to completely explain what I'm getting my master's in and kind of what I'm going to use it for. So that's it for this video. I'm sorry that it was kind of long. It was not supposed to be this long, y'all. It was supposed to be boop, 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 boop. Pros and cons, right? But I get so excited about these type of things, and working in your industry at the bottom of the barrel, but you can be in college working in your industry. Like, it really excites me. So I get to talking, y'all. I'm sorry. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to post in the comments below. Also, if you guys want to see any more different videos, if you want to see how I kind of got this look together today, then I'll be sure to post that as well. If you want to know like what's on my rack behind me or anything like that, you have any questions about camera use, just put the questions in the comments below. We'll be sure to answer those as soon as possible. Thank you all so much. I know it's been a break, but I'm here, I'm back, I'm excited. Content is gonna be heavy. So check us out. Also, if you have not looked at our website, look down below. We're gonna have our website listed, our Instagram, our Twitter, our Facebook, things like that, so you guys can check us out. Okay, thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode with Vogue a la mode.